So hello everyone and a big welcome to today's webinar. This is the fourth webinar in our Toolkit webinar series. And today we're looking at bringing your project to life, practical steps for success. So the first three webinars in this series explored kickstarting your project, effective project management, food safety 101, and the power of people, team and volunteer management. So they are all available to watch on our YouTube channel. So it's fantastic to have you all here as we come together to explore how we can reduce food waste and ensure good food reaches those who need it most in our communities. My name is Kerry. I'm the Education Coordinator here at FoodCloud. And I suppose for those of you who aren't too familiar with FoodCloud and what we do, FoodCloud is a non-profit social enterprise working to tackle the twin issues of food waste and food insecurity. So our mission is to transform surplus food into opportunities to make the world a kinder place. FoodCloud, redistributes surplus food from the food industry to a network of charity and community partners. So in Ireland, FoodCloud redistributes surplus food to over 700 community groups. This not only prevents good food from going to waste, but it also strengthens communities by ensuring more people have access to nutritious meals, helps community organisations save money on food bills, promotes personal well-being, and ensures that everyone plays their part in tackling climate breakdown. So this webinar series is all about empowering you. So whether you're a passionate individual, part of a local group, or simply want to make a difference in your community, we'll walk you through the FoodCloud Academy Toolkit, which is a step-by-step guide to help you start and run a food sharing project in your area. A community food sharing project. So what is it? It is any initiative that shares good food that would have gone to waste for free or at a low cost. So each webinar breaks down the toolkit into easy to follow parts, highlighting the most important things to consider. Plus, you hear directly from FoodCloud experts and community partners who've already set up successful community projects. So what will we look at throughout the toolkit series? So first, we looked at Kickstart and Grow, essential steps and best practices for successful food projects. Food Safety 101, essential laws and guidelines for food sharing projects. The power of people, recruiting, managing, and motivating your team. Today, it's bringing your project to life, practical steps for success. Next webinar, we'll look at making an impact, how to share your project story effectively. And then finally, we'll look at funding made simple. So securing support with confidence. So today's webinar will be short, practical, and packed with useful insights from both a FoodCloud expert and a community member who has been in your shoes. So here's what to expect from today's webinar. So you'll get insight into how to frame your message to engage your community, creative ways to balance accessibility and sustainability, and lessons from real food sharing initiatives. So the FoodCloud expert today is Myrna, FoodCloud's Membership and Engagement Coordinator. And our community partner today is Áine Coleman, a community food and nutrition worker with Dublin Northwest Partnership. And both will be sharing their first-hand experiences. There will be a chance for a questions and answers after the presentation. So feel free to drop your questions into the chat and I can put them to our presenters. So we hope this session leaves you feeling inspired and equipped with the tools you need to take action in your community. So we'll dive right on in and I would like to introduce Myrna, who will kick us off. Thanks, Myrna.
Thanks very much, Gary. So my name is Myrna. I've worked with FoodCloud's community teams for 8 years, first with the support team and now with the community development team. So over the years, I've been lucky enough to have worked with hundreds of charities and I visited many of these partners and gotten to know their projects. So I've seen firsthand the hard work and the challenges that they face, but also the innovation and creativity of our community partners when it comes to delivering that food efficiently, safely, and with maximum positive impact to their communities. So just if you can move to the first slide there. Today, I'm going to present 3 key areas of consideration when bringing a project to life and share some examples of approaches taken by our community partners across the country, which I hope will inspire everyone here. So the first one there is the importance of prioritizing project sustainability early on. So this is one of the biggest areas that projects tend to overlook at the beginning of a project. So get caught up in kind of the, managing kind of resources and forget about long-term sustainability. So what I mean about sustainability, mean by sustainability is it's the ability for a project to continue long-term. So sustainable projects, they need to meet the needs of their community right now, while also ensuring that the project will be able to continue to create a positive impact long into the future. So it's really important for a sustainable project to reduce risks from the outset by considering that long-term sustainability, as well as managing kind of the day-to-day for the project. So some examples of how you might prioritize sustainability are, first of all, by not relying only on surplus food. So surplus food, it's a great core food supply because it can be accessed for low or no cost. But it's also just due to its nature, it's also unpredictable and it can fluctuate over time. It can go up, it can go down. So for this reason, it's very important to have other sources of food to supplement your surplus food supply. So yeah, so just not to rely on surplus food alone. And especially like if you have local suppliers already, it is important to maintain those relationships. So, in terms of financial long-term sustainability, you can include a membership fee. So, to sign up for FoodCloud Hubs, that requires paying a small membership fee. Um, so this fee, it's very important to state that this fee doesn't cover the food. It covers the sourcing, the allocation, and the delivery of food orders. So it's paying for the logistics of what it actually takes to deliver that surplus food. Um, so that FoodCloud membership fee is it's only one potential cost that a group might have in delivering their project. So to cover the cost of projects, some of our partners will charge us, service users, a small membership fee to access the project. So this is not for profit, that's important to say, and it needs to be affordable for the service user. So this small fee often works well to help fund the project. You just have to be very careful not to charge for the food itself, as this can be perceived negatively. But by charging a membership fee or asking for a voluntary donation, many people feel a part of a social good that they are helping to maintain rather than getting a handout, which can be stigmatizing. We've also had feedback from student food pantries, for example, that charging a nominal fee meant students placed more value on the food, and so they were less likely to dispose of food around the campus because it wasn't some kind of free handout. Um, so as well, ensuring that there's a group of people responsible for the project, so not only one person. So I've seen this in a lot of organizations. There's like one powerhouse, and they're like amazing, and they do everything, and they really, are the engine kind of driving, getting signed up to FoodCloud, collecting the food. But it's really important that the project's coordinated and managed by a group of people rather than only one person. So that makes sure that the project will continue, even if the person who started it decides to move on, retire, or work for another organization. So yeah, it's really important that there's kind of a group involved from the outset. If you can move to the next slide there, please, Louise. So yeah, so design social inclusion into your project from the outset. So something that comes up a lot when speaking with community partners is the importance of dignity. So most organizations want to deliver projects that are not seen or felt as charity or a handout in some way. So instead, they're keen to deliver projects in ways that bring the community together without any sense of hierarchy. So what I mean by social inclusion, it's the processes and practices that address disadvantages experienced by people in the community. Um, that is like prioritizing equal access to services and reducing or removing any additional seen or unseen barriers. So this approach fosters a sense of community, belonging and dignity into your project. So some examples of how you might design an inclusive project are, for starters, words matter. So being careful about your word choices and framing your message about the project to maximize community participation. So avoiding language that others people or stigmatizes, like, words like poverty and charity, and consider framing your project around words like climate action and community. So like an example of that could be by taking food from this shelf, you're helping to reduce food waste and carbon emissions. So, instead of something that people take furtively taking food off a shelf, it's like, oh no, it's great. Like everyone can take food from this and we're actually contributing to something really positive. So in FoodCloud, our messaging focuses on climate action and community connection. So historically, Ireland has always had the cultural practice of mehel. So mehel's an Irish word for a traditional system where groups of neighbours help each other out, such as on farms when harvesting crops, turf cutting, for example. So neighbours who helped out were then helped out in return with their own harvests. So at the heart of that word mehel is community unity and mutual support for a social good. So in our communities, if one of us is not okay, then none of us are okay. Another thing that's great to do is allowing people to choose food. So offering a level of choice to service users and allowing them to choose what they get. So, for example, if you're concerned about one person taking everything, you can use a points or a color code system, which limits the amount of any product that a person can take, but still allows them to choose at least some of everything. Um, and then lastly, most people love to give back. So provide opportunities for people to become volunteers. So perhaps they'll come back later once they've passed through the project, or maybe they would like to volunteer while also receiving food. So yeah, always give people the opportunity to give back. And if you can move to the next slide there, please, Louise. So connect and learn from other projects who have done something similar. So one of the most important things that we've learned here in FoodCloud over the past 11 years is that every community is different with different needs. So for that reason, like we couldn't tell anyone what approach or practices will work best for them, but we can provide connections with other community groups in your area who have come up against similar challenges in the past. And we can provide case studies of other projects that may provide inspiration on how you might like to develop in the future. So sharing knowledge, skills, and experiences with people who have delivered projects already will help you to consider project adaptations that will work best for your specific community and environment. FoodCloud have published 4 case studies online already, where you can see examples of successful projects that we are inspired by. So these projects demonstrate many of the ideas that I have suggested today. So you can see there, the first one there on the top left is Feed Cork Food Bank. So these guys, they're based in Cork City and they run a food bank and a social supermarket alongside each other. And that ensures that they provide service users with a choice on what they take, but it also means that they don't run out of food on any given day. So they never have to turn anybody away. So the way they work, they use coded stickers to provide choice to service users. So when customers enter, they get a menu card and that lets them know what they can take under each color and then they help themselves before checking out at the end with a member of staff. This next one there is Clonmany Community Pantry. So they charge a membership fee to cover the cost of getting and giving food. So this is €5 per week, and that also covers the cost of providing branded cotton bags for people to fill with food once a week. And then like kind of bigger items like, boxes of cereal, they can also take separately so it doesn't have to just fill the bag. Clonmany uses education and climate action messaging to frame their pantry and invite all the community to sign up. So everyone's invited, but also ensuring that it's affordable to those who need it most. The third one there, Footprint Social Supermarket, they're in Northern Ireland, and they use surplus food as their primary food supply. However, they do supplement this with other food. So they get financial donations from businesses that they use to buy some key products that they could not get on a regular basis. So I suppose, items kind of like maybe kind of like tea, sugar, things that have a very long kind of shelf life, so don't come up in surplus food too often. And then they also have a community garden and a community kitchen, which they also use to stock their supermarket. So the food's coming from many different places. And the last but not least, Limerick Island Community Cafe and Meals on Wheels. So they provide affordable meals for all of their community. And then many of those who benefit from those meals are also involved in volunteering in their community centre or as drivers for their Meals on Wheels. So you can go to our website to see these specific projects for yourself. And please also continue to register for our webinars and to our newsletter to learn more about how other communities use surplus food. And yeah, so to finish up, thank you for listening. And if you're curious about anything I've suggested today, you can reach out to me directly at membership@foodcloud.ie. Thank you very much.
Fantastic, Myrna. Thanks, that's brilliant. Thank you. Excellent. So we are going to move on to Áine Coleman now. Over to you, Áine.
Hi guys, so good afternoon, and my name is Áine, and I'm just going to talk a bit about how we set up our community food club. But a lot of the stuff Myrna had said are really intertwined in our food club, and actually one of the first people I'd met was Bevan from the Coleman Pantry, and really sparked kind of an idea of how can we do something similar in our area. So I'm just going to talk about our process and go from there. Can I get the next slide, please? So yeah, so we planning stage first, and what we did was visit a good few social supermarkets and food pantries in Armagh and Trim and County Down. Well Fed was one of the ones there. Just to kind of get an idea of, we were kind of time between, would we do a food pantry or social supermarket? We weren't sure what area we go down to. And then we put a business proposal together for a community food club pilot. And once that was approved, we set up stakeholder meetings, which is really important because I was really new in my role. So as a community food nutrition worker, I think the roles only existed like 3 years now. So it was important to have key stakeholders involved in the process and planning of it. So HSE, Ballymun Child and Family Resource Centre, our own colleagues, Northside Partnership, and the local development officer as well. Can I get the next slide, please? So that's our community food club was born from that. So in 2023, I suppose the ethos of it was everybody should have access to nutritious food, and the food club aims to support families and individuals with food and a wraparound care. So it was pop-up style. When we said pop-up, it was because trying to get a venue was really difficult. So we got a venue in the local Ballymun Child and Family Resource Centre. So this is an example of, we had one room as the community shop, we like to call it, and then the other room was a social space. And we charge a €5 fee, and people could choose what they want. So like 12 items was €5. And that would vary as each week went on. And then it operates for like an hour and a half. And it started in September 2023. And our suppliers for all the food was FoodCloud, the local super value at the time. Can I get the next slide, please? And now we were able to apply for funding, I suppose, to see that the project was really successful. Our pilot was very successful. So we received a Slaunch Care a seed funding to support and set up a food club in Finglas. So that helped to kind of actually set up a pantry in the room to cover our FoodCloud membership, to cover different different equipment and different ways of having a fully functioning food club. So that's in St. Helena's Family Resource Centre in Finglas. It operates as a 12-week program, about 15 to 20 participants per week. We have 2 food clubs completed, and we've just set up our 3rd one in June, and last week. And I suppose what I noticed from the pilot was, because of inconsistent attendance, and we were getting food from Super Value as well, because we wanted to make sure we had enough food each week. We actually had a lot of surplus food, which was hard to manage, and making sure that it wasn't wasted. So now we fully get our food from FoodCloud and donations. So we always ensure that we have fresh fruit and vegetables each week. That's an example of what we would get from FoodCloud of a Friday. And our referrals are from our social prescriber, CrossCare, self-referrals, and we do a leaflet drop in the area as well. It's really great to have the referrals from, let's say, social prescriber and CrossCare, because they work with people one-to-one, and they can identify either the social isolation need or the need for food assistance as well. So it's been really, really beneficial to have a referral system with them. Can I get the next slide, please? So how does it work? So we didn't want to just have food assistance. We really wanted the food club to be a wraparound service to empower people and support them. So our food club serves as merely more than just distributing food. It addresses multiple interconnected needs within the community. By expanding its services, the food club can provide more holistic support to individuals and families, which ultimately can foster greater stability, empowerment, and resilience. And I'll just give you a few examples of what our wraparound service does. Can I get the next slide, please? So it acts as a one-stop resource hub. So the minute we get people into the Family Resource Centre, we can provide the food club, but also we can promote the different programs that are going on there. If there's an art club, if there's Pilates, if there's one of our Slaunch Care programs going on. So it kind of breaks that barrier of people come in and go, oh, I'm used to this space now, I'll come back after the food club. And we use the food club really as linking people into the FRCs and being able to provide more assistance. and saves people time, and I suppose promotes health and well-being. Can I get the next slide, please? Yes, so going on from that, we really focus on promoting the HC services. I'm funded by Sláintecare, so I would be working in the education wellbeing team. So for each food club, we get a health promotion officer to come in and promote the healthy food made easy, social prescribing, we can quit, parenting classes, physical activity. I suppose this is where we kind of make the most of the 12 weeks we have people. If someone identifies themselves as a smoker, we can link them in with the one-to-one stop smoking advisor. We can also link them in with a We Can Quit program that we have going on. So getting a health promotion officer early on is really good, especially if they're interested in healthy eating. We can even maybe set up a healthy food made easy course for the group after the food club. Can I get the next slide? Perfect. So building trust is really important. I think as Myrna said as well, you know, the Food Club is a new program that we ran out, especially after COVID as well. For the pilot, it would have people that were previously receiving food parcels. So we really wanted to be a supportive, judgment-free hub. We really focus on that. That's an example of one of our coffee mornings of having the chats and making people feel comfortable in the space, and it really helped with better engagement as well. And led to people getting more involved in the Food Club as well. Can I get the next slide, please? So reducing stigma, again, is really important. And I actually think having the FoodCloud story has been really helpful for me. People pay the €5 fee, but also we give this the background of it, that where we get the food from, the story of it. So when people say, oh, you know, they go, I don't want to pick 12 items, or I don't want to take too much. Like, no, you're paying the €5, it's your fee, it's your club. And you're actually helping. This is also Zero Food Waste Initiative. So if you take your 12 items, you're actually doing us a favor, and you're doing the climate a favor. So that has actually been really a really important aspect for us. And it's been easier for us to actually promote the food club and kind of remove that stigma for people that are seeking food assistance, and shifting that narrative as well. Like, we want it to be community focused, and get people involved in the food club as well. Can I get the next slide, please? So empowering the community, that's again really important aspect for us. So throughout the 12 weeks, we'll have cooking demonstrations, we'll have life skills workshops, budgeting workshops, wellness workshops, all in the focus of empowering people and getting people supported. And if it's a support of what recipe we're going to cook, or if we see people are really interested in the food club. From our first pilot, our first program at Finglas last year, we identified 2 people that are really interested in the program, and they now volunteer with us. So I suppose it's giving people that time to like link in with us, again focusing on having coffee mornings together to see the potential of linking people back into the community as well. Can I get the next slide, please? And then I suppose one of the really important factors is reducing food waste and promoting sustainability. So we will deliver food waste workshops, actually a FoodCloud workshop that we deliver just to people can promoting food waste at home, and also telling the story again of where we get the food from. We also share food safety resources, and I said 100% of the food we redistribute is from FoodCloud or donations, and then promoting the fact that the food otherwise would have gone to landfill. So given that story has really helped, again, kind of remove that barrier for people. Can I get the next slide, please? Social engagement. So we would have done a pre and post evaluation for our pilot. And the biggest thing that came up was social engagement and support element of the food club, which was really nice to hear. And also a lot of it stemmed from after the pandemic, people weren't as social. So the food club provided a safe space for people to connect and reconnect with their neighbours and people to meet in the community. Like an example, one person said, oh, I didn't know my neighbours, and now when I walk out the door, I know more people in my community. So even just that 12 weeks can actually really make a difference from the social point of view. Can I get the next slide, please? Yeah, so basically that's all for me. This is actually a report that we did on our pilot and the learnings, because we did a evaluation on that. If anyone wants to scan the QR code, or you can email me and I get happy to answer any questions that you have today. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Áine. That was fantastic, and yeah, really insightful. Any questions or thoughts? Please put them in the chat, and I can put them to our presenters. I was just jotting down some notes as you guys were presenting, and I suppose I'll start with you, Áine, in terms of framing the messaging to engage the community. You mentioned reducing stigma and so on, but I suppose from your own experiences and advice to somebody starting out on developing a project, what would be your advice around framing that message to engage the community?
Well, what I do is really even the first, so like we have a little flyer about the food club, and it's a generic 12 weeks, reduce food waste, and we have a little thing like that, getting people engaged with the first week. I will explain the concept of it. So when I did it with the pilot, I wasn't sure whether to say about surplus food, and I was a bit nervous about the kind of story behind it. So again, I had never run a program like this, but now I suppose it's actually owning really promoting that, because people kind of feel a bit nervous starting off during the food club. So first week I explain where we get the food from, where their membership fee is going to, and saying that by attending the food club, you're supporting a food waste initiative. And then I'll kind of trickle that throughout the 12 weeks as well. So like this is what, to always kind of bring back the story of where we're getting the food from, and it is majority from FoodCloud. And then when I do my food waste workshop as well, that's really important to go, I'll do that. And we always kind of get the FoodCloud kitchen in for one of the weeks too, to go, all this food was made out of surplus food. So it's kind of bringing people into the story and focusing on telling them exactly everything and what the food club is about. And we kind of tell them, let's say from the last food club, how much food waste we saved from doing the program. So it's just really kind of promoting the story of food waste, and that really takes away the stigma for people as well. If they kind of go, oh, actually, I didn't realize that this is a zero waste initiative, or that I'm actually I'm saving food from coming here. So I think it's actually a really empowering story.
Yeah, definitely. Particularly when people can see themselves in it and see their role in actually tackling the bigger issue, it's fantastic. And I suppose that you started with saying how you reached out to other real life initiatives, as we say, so the other community projects, and you be even in Coleman and the other social supermarkets and different things. How important was that for framing the development of the project?
That was crucial. So there were only a handful. They were the people that we met face to face, but I have had so many meetings from Kickstart Supermarket, or a lot of different things, which is really important because again, I came from my role was totally new. I'd never done anything like this before. So I really wanted to get that real life experience, chatting to the Coleman pantry was really important really early on to see what you need to do, what are the barriers. And again, that's why when we were kind of looking at all the different kind of models out there, we were like, okay, we kind of had a mixture of, we really wanted to have a food element, but we also really wanted to have the wraparound service. So we kind of merged all the different ideas and kind of came up with the kind of food club model that worked for us as a 12-week program, and had the wraparound service incorporated in that. But yeah, really, people are always so helpful. So if anyone has an idea of something, I would really reach out to people, because people know what it feels like, because it can be daunting, and people have always been super helpful when I've reached out to them.
Excellent. And Myrna, I'll just come to you for one final question before we finish up. You spoke a good deal about sustainability and obviously ensuring that the project is sustainable and can continue into the future. I suppose, what advice would you give to somebody starting out? So you mentioned reducing the risks, and that particularly is around the sourcing food supply, sustainable food supply, and having a good core group of people opposed to relying on one person. Is there just any other advice, or could you talk a little bit about that before we finish up, please?
I suppose those are really key. Is making sure this kind of supply of food is there, making sure there's a team of people working on it, making sure there's kind of a long-term, plan in terms of financial sustainability, like charging a fee. But also it's kind of like getting the best advice, so that you have these ideas, like fresh ideas, like being fed into your project, so that you have ideas for kind of adapting and expanding the project in the future as well. So really, you want to kind of the most impact kind of for the longest period of time. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so I'm going to bring these discussions to a close for today. Our next webinar themed Making an Impact, how to share your project story effectively, is on July 2nd at 12:30 to 1 p.m. And again, we invite you to join us using today's, the same link as today. I would like to thank the brilliant presenters and to you all for joining. This really was insightful, and I hope each and every one of you have been inspired from the presentations and discussions today. To watch the webinar again, check out our FoodCloud YouTube channel and share on your socials. And to get more information on setting up a food sharing project, check out our toolkit at food.cloud/academy/toolkits. Have a great afternoon, everyone, and thank you once again. Bye-bye.